Here, we're focusing on the way candidates have conveyed their message, or in other words, the delivery of their content. This will help you to consider how the way in which you deliver what you are saying can support your performance. Let's have a look at an example from Jessica and Simon.
It was some sort of military operation we were running.
To be honest, if you don't go to that supermarket very often, it's very hard to find because it's a very big supermarket. So you need a map to find your way around the store.
So what did you notice? Here Jessica and Simon both use humour to build a relationship with their interviewer and engage them with their story. Notice how Simon's crossed arms imply he is uneasy with the situation. However, doesn't he seem more relaxed when he smiles and injects some humour? Now, consider the impact Sonia and Simon's delivery has on what they're saying in the next two clips.
So the week after we went out to Iceland and collected our data, that was the week after, and it was a great trip, and the glaciers are amazing.
Helping people on the shop floor and on the tills when we were really busy. The day we were really busy, I had to work on the till and the shop floor.
Sonia and Simon both repeat themselves in these examples. Whilst this might happen from time to time, this can detract from what you're saying, as the message you're trying to convey will become less articulate. Preparing for your interview will help you feel more confident about what you're saying, making it less likely that you'll lose track. Have a look at this next clip for another example of how the way you say something may impact on what it is you are saying.
Although it was a bit awkward at first, I made a real effort to speak to everyone, asking questions like if they'd been out the night before and what other modules they were taking, as I think that's always a good icebreaker. Sorry, just going back to your last question, generally, I guess, I was really good at the planning side of things and making sure we were focused on the task.
In this extract, Sonia appears to lose her focus and adds in unnecessary detail, which might be problematic if she's running short of time in the interview. She does well, however, to bring herself back on track and answer the question posed to her. Her high level of relevant detail is good. Think about what you can do to prepare so that you can share useful information whilst remaining focused and providing a fluent response to the interviewer's question. Watch the next clip with Simon and think about his delivery.
I told them where to find it in the store. I showed her which aisle to find the item in, but it wasn't in stock.
We know some nerves can help you perform better in stressful situations, but sometimes this can have negative implications, such as in this example. We've seen Simon speak articulately in other examples. I'm sure you'll agree, it looks like Simon let his nerves get the better of him this time. Stumbling over your words is going to happen from time to time, so why not take time to think about what you can do to help you remain calm and poised, even when you feel under a lot of pressure. Let's move on. Another important consideration when thinking about the way in which you deliver what you say is the pace at which you speak. Let's watch this example from Simon. Think about his pace.
I went to check with my line manager to see if there was anything at the back, but normally if we have it in stock, it's always put on the shelves. We didn't have it in the back, so I said I'd call another branch to see if they had it there.
So what did you notice? How easy was it to follow what Simon was saying? In this clip, Simon's pace is largely appropriate. However, he gets a little faster as time elapses. Do you think he might have been nervous? It's important to pause and take a breath between sentences. Consistently talking too fast may impact on what you're saying. You're likely to sound rushed, which might draw attention away from the content of your response. What could you do to control any nervous energy you may have? Have a look at this clip from Sonia.
Please describe a time when you've worked in a team to deliver a piece of work.
Okay, sure.
In this example, Sonia composes herself before sharing her example with the interviewer. Taking a few seconds to think about the question isn't a bad thing. It will support you to provide a considered answer, delivered articulately and at a reasonable pace. Let's have a look at this clip from Simon.
I called the nearest store to us to check if they had it in. They did, so I told the customer that she could collect it from there, but she said she couldn't go there that afternoon because she had other plans.
I'm sure you'll agree this is a considered response. The way in which he shared his example is clear. Simon is speaking at a reasonable pace, not too fast and not too slow. Simon also alters his tone of voice at times in this example. Have a look at the difference your tone could make to the way you share your example.
And what challenges did you have to overcome?
The biggest challenge we had to overcome was when one of the sponsors said they couldn't offer a sponsorship anymore because of internal changes. And we were only told that a few days after the pitch, and that meant that we lost a few days and we could have been planning a pitch to someone else. And then I started to get worried that we may not get a sponsor because we hadn't heard back from anyone yet. So we made it a priority to get a pitch to another company. I got some of the other team to call up some other businesses that we'd already contacted, but they hadn't got back to us, just to follow up and see if they'd missed any of our emails. I asked some of the girls to contact whole new businesses as well. We managed to get another business to see us the next day near the campus, but we made it clear to them when we needed our final decision, just in case we didn't hear back from anyone.
I'm sure you'll agree with me that Jessica is fairly monotone in her delivery here. Think about how a slight alteration in her delivery style would help to highlight the important parts of her example to the interviewer. Another thing to bear in mind is the impact your body language can have on your delivery. We've seen this in Jessica's example, who can be seen fidgeting, detracting attention away from what she's saying. Let's now watch this clip of Sonia. Watch carefully and make a note of what you notice.
And I also ended up volunteering to pull together the final report. I liked formatting documents to make things look neat, and I could make sure I was completely happy with it and how it looked and how it read. Does that answer the question?
I'm sure you'll agree Sonia appears reassured at the start of this example. However, towards the end, she trails off from her answer and asks the interviewer for reassurance on whether she's answered the question. It's absolutely acceptable to ask the interviewer to rephrase a question if you're unclear on what you're being asked. However, try to be as professional as you can in managing this. Have a think about what Sonia could have done differently here to ensure she remained calm and professional. Since an interview is a two-way process, both you and the interviewer will want to do whatever is necessary to make sure you have shared enough information. Be confident in your responses, and if you want reassurance, ask confidently what else the interviewer might want from you. Let's watch this final example from Simon.
She said it would be a big help, but she'd never used the service and wasn't really familiar with how to place an order. And I thought I'd show her how to do it in case she wanted to use the service again.
I'm sure you'll agree with me that Simon speaks at a reasonable pace and is calm, which implies conviction in his response. The way in which you deliver your responses to questions in the interview can be enhanced by self-assurance in what you're saying. Coupled with a well-considered answer in terms of your content, this will support you to be your best self.